Nick's got a new toy.
I didn't want to plug a guitar in today because there wouldn't be a lot of space and I'd hit our guest in the head. And I've got this new toy.
I hope that's not like actual brown noise or something like that.
What's brown noise?
Do you know about brown noise? So it's certain frequencies. Obviously, we all are on certain frequency levels, and there's a particular frequency of sound that, when played, makes people poo themselves.
Oh, really?
Yep. Tried and tested.
I can believe that. Yeah, they're all.
So, right, yeah, welcome to the Mouth of Manliness with me, Nick Noyes, and my colleague and associate Bradley Action.
Brad Action.
And we've got an esteemed guest today.
We're lucky.
Peter Khan, who is, I've spoken about him many times, about him being one of the many therapists I've seen, but by far the best. Yeah, and there's a lot of things I've said throughout the podcast have actually kind of pretty much come from stuff that Peter's said that have really kind of resonated with me. So, welcome, Peter.
Welcome.
Thank you for coming on.
No, thanks for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here, really. I'm quite excited having watched the first 3 episodes or listened to the first 3. Yeah.
I'm excited because of how Nick talks about you, and I mean, not completely explicitly, we don't know exactly what goes on in the room, but like the little nuggets of knowledge that he sort of brings back and talks about, we get a lot of feedback on from people listening and stuff like that. Good. So it makes sense to kind of have you in the room with us.
Yeah. I kind of, from the inception of my idea, from getting started, I thought I really want to get Peter on at some point, and I was so pleased when you said that you'd come on, and you seem quite up for it straight away.
Oh, I love it, yeah. Well, there's that part of me that's like, oh, you shouldn't do it. And we'll come to that because physiologically, fear and excitement are the same thing, okay? You're going to have palpitations, you're going to have butterflies in your stomach, sweaty palms, and maybe a bit nauseous. But that's where you can trick the mind to say, I'm excited, I'm looking forward to it. And then you don't get fearful.
That's really interesting.
So so you already had a head start.
Yeah.
So you could be at a roller coaster, both of you. You're feeling excited, you're feeling scared, but physiologically, you're going through exactly the same symptoms.
Very that's crazy.
Aren't you?
Right out the
gate. That makes sense. So good. No, this is it. So basically, I first started seeing Peter pretty much a year ago.
Yeah.
And I think the things that have stood strongest with me and the things that have helped me the most have just been little things like that. More than anything else, it's just that different way of looking at it. Yeah. And more often than not, it's kind of something that's like saying that it's really kind of sensible, and you hear it and it just makes sense to you straight away because you think, your body is doing the same thing.
Can I just clarify something, Nick? Because I've heard you say I'm a hypnotherapist, which I am. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist. But I like to say that I'm a therapist. And I just happen to use hypnotherapy as a tool, as a modality to help people listen. But I'll also use other tools. So if you imagine a plumber, his go-to tool is a wrench. Yeah. That's my hypnotherapy.
Right. Okay.
But I'll also use a hammer, a jigsaw, a screwdriver.
Sounds a lot more painful than you make out, Nick.
If I was a plumber. So those other modalities within therapy are CBT and neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, psychotherapy, emotional freedom techniques, EFT they call it. So I use a range of tools, and I've used various methods in our sessions, Nick. But because I remember the first episode when you said hypnotherapy, when you revealed that you came to see me, and your immediate reaction, Brad, was, oh, does he turn you into a chicken?
Yeah.
Right?
I said that for a reason.
No.
I said that for a reason.
But that's the thing. So your mind, and I'm not having a go at you, I'm just saying that's a normal response because we've all been programmed.
Yeah.
Okay? So if I said to you, policeman, judge, cashier, your brain, your mind needs to pick an image that makes sense to you. Right? So you can say, oh, I know what a policeman looks like. I know what a judge looks like. Now, your image of a judge is probably an elderly white male.
Yeah, curly wig.
But it's not a black female.
No.
Who could also be a judge.
Totally.
And your policeman's not someone in a turban.
No. Yeah,
because
totally.
you've been programmed.
Yeah.
And when you say hypnotherapist, oh, it's Little Britain. Look into my eyes,
course,
or
yeah.
But of course, it's nothing like that.
Yeah.
So already you can see that you have been hypnotized.
Mm.
We all have been hypnotized, right? And what I do is actually dehypnotize people. And what does that mean? It means I just change and reframe beliefs that you've had over time. You know, I remember you speaking about going to work. Everybody conforms. You see, I went to London today on the train. Nobody's happy.
No.
They're all like, I'm doing it because I was told to do this. Mm-hmm. This is safe. This is secure. This is how I should be earning money, but I'm not happy. I hate the commute. I hate my job. I hate my life. I have no time for my friends and my family, but I'm doing it nonetheless. Mm. Why? Because they've been told to. We've all been.
Yeah.
Right? So, what can you do? Well, you can just start thinking differently. It's only fear that's holding you back from doing something that you love.
Yeah, quite often it's easy, and I almost felt myself going to make like a whole line of excuses. We've spoken about scripts, haven't we, a couple of times? My go-to script I've already reeled off to you two like 3 times since we've been setting everything up in here. It's, I haven't got time for this, and no energy to do this, and kids and work and kind of everything else. But I think like I always drive towards thinking that something is going to pop up on my phone and someone's going to say, "Oh, ring up this quick," and it's this, we've cracked America, or podcasters had like 40,000, 50,000, 60,000 listens and everything else, and that, I know it's not an answer to anything, but that at that point I can just turn around and say F you to work and walk out, and then start what I actually in my mind want to start doing, kind of thing. And I think people have their like thing that they're aiming for. Normally it's the national lottery or stuff like that, and they think it's like once this happens or once that happens, kind of thing. You
see, that's the Newtonian law of physics, which is you're looking for external things to make you feel happy, to make you feel good. Now, external could be someone saying, "I love you, Brad," or it could be that Ferrari, it could be whatever it is. But actually, the new way of thinking, which is quantum law of reality, is that you already have this thing. So if you're already grateful and act from a standpoint of having gratitude in your life, because gratitude is the signature of having that thing already. Yeah, if you're grateful for something, you've received it. Right? So it's a changing of mindset. It's like Rykov, act as if. And it's about, the collective consciousness. When you see these geese flying and you think there's a top-down effect, there's a leader, but it isn't. It's a bottom-up. And those forward-thinking companies are embracing this. So everybody makes a contribution, you can have your lifestyle within the office space and so on and so forth.
Yeah, it is fascinating. And it is kind of almost a dream to work for like some of those companies for a lot of people. And the way people's attitudes are changing towards work and stuff like that. It's funny because in the realms of work on site and everything else, people say, "Oh, I couldn't sit in an office all day just sitting there," and office politics and everything else. And I'm like, well, if you Google's office, for instance, slides and ball pits and they have meetings on beanbags and stuff like that. Like, who's not going to want to go to work?
It's funny that so many people go and scoff at that, but I kind of think you need like things like that. That generally makes you more creative. But then those circumstances would then become the norm, wouldn't they? If you work there.
That's
I always
true.
think after a while that would become the norm, and then that wouldn't be exciting.
Yeah, that is.
But it's not about excitement though. It's about empowerment and trusting that person to deliver, whatever their job role is, to be creative or an accountant. It doesn't matter. The company, the organisation is saying, "I'm trusting you to deliver. I'm going to provide an environment which is conducive to you being happy. You being happy means you're going to be more productive."
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
That's totally. All about, because work is supposed to be about satisfaction.
Yeah.
It's about enjoyment. Yeah. That's what it should be. Money is supposed to make you more comfortable, that's all.
Yeah.
Right? So you can still be unhappy and depressed and miserable and have lots of money.
Yeah, I think I said on the last one.
Yeah.
I want. Was it no? Yeah, Jim Carrey said, "I want everyone to achieve fame, fortune, and money, and everything, and success, just so they can see it really isn't the answer to anything whatsoever."
Yeah, I like that. That's good.
I think that quite firmly. I'm not talking. I mean, obviously, we're not from a standpoint of having nothing.
No, of course not.
And I think we can't. I can't put it into that realms really. But then you do find people who have got nothing often are quite happy.
Oh, totally.
That they haven't got the trappings that other people who have got lots have got, because it's almost like if you've got more, then you feel like you need to represent that kind of more, don't you? You need to have more, keep having more, and then have more than the bloke next to you.
Yeah.
I was talking about this at band practice last night about when people are really driven by money. And it's more that they're not driven by the money, they're driven by having more than the bloke next to them.
Yeah, keeping up with the Joneses.
It's like, well, I've got £1 more than you and £2 more than him, and then I'm happy. But that's
horrible,
not true, is
isn't
it?
it?
Because you're not really happy.
No, it makes me sick.
It's really about the money. It's more to do with the ego, status, and
Power.
control, and it's also to do with, well, just thinking that you'll be rich and successful will bring you happiness, right? And it's empty.
But that's kind of, and you think, especially now, social media is just throwing it at you all the time.
Yeah.
Like, it's so much more apparent now than it was.
And there's a generation of people who seem to be earning money just taking their tops off and selling lip gloss on Instagram and not going to work. And I've fallen into that trap many a time when I thought, what can I do to kind of possibly look at like revenue streams and stuff like that, and eventually I'll get 2 or 3 of them and it will take over, then I won't have to go work, and that means I can do more of the revenue stream things and everything else. I think it's totally possible, but I think that particular bubble was burst. I don't look as sexy with my top off. I don't know how much lip gloss I would actually sell, but I think
you'd still be an influencer, Brad.
I'd influence a few things. I'd probably incite a riot, to be honest. But I know that keeping up with Love Island news, as we seem to for some reason, to get on to Love Island this year, apparently all of the contestants had to have a minimum of 60,000 followers on Instagram or something. I don't know how true that is. I don't know how true that is, but it's. I remember someone telling me a really long time ago in the music industry that you can't just make music now. You have to. They call it 360-degree media. So you have to be like a brand and website, and obviously tour and dates and band meets and merchandise and everything like that. And I suppose it's the same in TV. You're kind of rocking up and saying, yeah, I'm on TV, but I can also, anything I'm doing on TV, I will post about. So this X amount of people will see it, and they'll see it, this amount of people on Twitter and everything else. So people are bringing a lot more to the table now, I guess.
And you've got to have a sad story.
Yeah, it's true.
So, one thing I talk about a lot is my bastard brain.
Yeah.
And we talked a little bit about it before we started.
In the green room, yeah.
Yeah, in the green room, the garage.
In the Nick cave.
And and loads of people have kind of mentioned about that, and that's resonated with a lot of people. And I got, although clearly not in those terms, but like you kind of taught me some of this. Like you taught me all of this stuff, really. Kind of fundamentally that. What I say is that you don't have to listen to your brain.
Yeah.
Like I've almost kind of said it the other day, like consciousness and your brain are separate almost. Like you can be conscious, but your brain is almost separate, which is a really hard concept to grasp, isn't it?
Because you've got to grasp it with your brain. It's kind of like paradox.
You have to catch it. First of all, I know it's a small distinction, but it's not your brain. Your brain is an organ like your bladder or your lungs, okay? It's your mind, okay? There's a distinction to be made. Now, if I said to you, draw me a picture of your mind, what would you draw?
Brain, probably.
Yeah, I was just about to say, that's crazy though, isn't it?
Okay?
Yeah.
That's the most powerful force in the universe, yet nobody can draw their mind. So just imagine that you have a mind. Let's just say it's a bubble or a cake. You divide it. There's half of it is your conscious mind and half is your subconscious, unconscious mind. Okay? And actually, this is big again. we all know what we need to do or not do, but there's this knowledge to action gap. Okay? You know you shouldn't feel so down, moody, whatever it is, okay? Yep. And you know, I need to do more, have some more time with whatever it is. And people know I should stop smoking, I should drink less, I should stop gambling, I should stop cheating, but they can't do it. There's the knowledge to action gap because your conscious mind is this big, or if you can't see it, it's 1/10 of your unconscious mind. So that's driving you. Yeah?
Okay.
That's your engine. It will always win. It's always the first thing that reacts. Okay? No, it never used to be the case. So everyone who comes to see me, I think most people in the Western world, has a conflict. They want to start doing something, but they don't. They want to stop doing something, but they can't. Right? Because they think they are consciously in charge, but they're not. It's another part of you. And that subconscious mind, I started at the beginning saying we've all been programmed or hypnotized, conditioned, because we came into this world as a blank piece of paper. Okay. The most important years of your life between 0 and 6. That's when you will have had all your input, all your data, all your conditioning, all your hardwiring put in by your parents or those closest to you. So your temperature, your barometer, Brad, Nick, is already set in terms of wealth and sex and relationships. Because let me give you an example. If you hear your dad, he may not even be talking to you, but he's talking to your uncle. And you hear him say, oh, look at that flash bastard driving that Mercedes. Who does he think he is? Right? You're going to think wealthy people are not very nice. You're going to put a self-limiting block on yourself. I don't want to be wealthy because they're not very nice. Yeah?
Yeah, the depth in that one little link.
But
things
so
like that.
Even if you're not consciously thinking, I don't want to be wealthy, for example, later on in life, you almost sabotage yourself.
Yeah. You don't know any better. You are trusting the people closest to you. And whatever they say, go, because they're your parents. You're innocent. Yeah? You hear things, they may say it directly to you. That's why people, for example, if I'm dealing with weight issues, I've always been told to clean my plate. Look at all the starving children in Africa. So now they're 50 years old, they still eat every scrap of food in their plate.
That's literally come up in conversation this weekend for me.
Oh, right.
Yep. We got 3 pieces of cake in the restaurant that we went into because my mum and dad go in there all the time. And they were 2 of the biggest bits of cake I've ever seen. And Buddy was on the playground thing. And my mum actually come over and said, did you order any cake? I said, no, I wouldn't have done that. I'm not really too fussed. I'd just eaten like a big sort of dinner anyway. And she went, they've given us some free cake. Come and eat it. Right, okay. And she always, she's a proper feeder, my mum. And especially because I'm a vegetarian as well. But yeah, I literally sat there and Buddy had eaten quite a bit. Olive had some. Mum didn't want something she never eats. Dad didn't want any. Cake was sort of stuffed anyway. And I ate the rest of the whole of the 2 plates.
But is that how you grew up?
Yeah.
To be taught to clean your plate?
It was almost like a novelty thing of, Brad will eat it, everything else. And it's kind of a bit of an in-joke kind of thing.
But you almost slip into that role straight away.
100%.
It's like you can't help it. And
that's your programming, you see. It's default.
And Kate even said that this morning, even with the drinking. We weren't going to go out for dinner because it was late and the kids were playing up. I wasn't going to have a drink. And lo and behold, as soon as I went there, we're going out for dinner. I was like, no, not. It's like a routine. I always say, no, I'm all right, thank you. Oh, come on. And I go, no, I haven't got any money. And they go, come on, we'll pay. And I go, oh, all right then. And then they go, oh, what beer do you want? Oh, no, I'm all right, I'm not drinking. I'll go on, just have one. Oh, all right, I'll have such and such. And then literally 7 pints later, and Kate's driving us home, going, we've done it again, kind of thing. It's
just revert to
it
type.
really is, and I think because it was comfortable in doing so. But as soon as I got home, I felt sick and disappointed in myself again. Yeah. It's crazy.
That's so true because my revert to type is being miserable and depressed.
Yeah.
And now I see myself doing it like I didn't used to. because it actually is really comfortable.
But that's
it's easy.
Even as I was talking about it, was comfortable to talk about just then.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Yeah.
And
but that's it. The awareness is the first step to understand and catch yourself. Yeah, is the first step to actual recovery or improvement. It's when you're ignorant of what's going on and you're just stuck in that mode, then nothing's going to change. So it's like anything. Practice and keep being aware of it.
In my experience, a lot of sadness comes from the awareness as well, though, because it can almost be, I think, I'm disappointed in myself because I'm aware that I've done this kind of thing. I suppose, is that just not knowing what to do with your emotions?
Think if you're more aware, you say, for example, that if you're more aware, you won't go, oh god, then I'll go.
I would have intercepted.
You'll be more inclined to go, hold on, no, I'm just doing what I always do.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
I think Nick's mentioned it on previous shows that you refer to it as your brain, but yeah, I say the mind, okay? It's a survival mechanism. It's there to keep you alive. Yeah. So no matter how skewed the logic, that's what it does. So if a person is in a toxic relationship, let's just say for the sake of this argument, it's a woman, because it tends to be. She's in an emotional, abusive and physically abusive relationship. Her mind is saying, stay there. Her subconscious mind. Stay in this relationship because it's safe. Right? You may take the odd beating, you don't get any money, it's tight, but you've got a roof over your head, you know where you are. Because the conscious mind is saying, get out there. There's a whole world of unlimited opportunity for you. Go there. Try it. But that's what the subconscious is saying. No, because it's a whole new world of unlimited opportunity. It's scary.
Yeah.
It's unknown. Unknown equals death. Possible death. Stay here. It's safe. It's secure. So that's how skewed it is. In fact, just imagine the tip of the iceberg. The bit above the waterline is your conscious mind. The bit below the waterline is your subconscious. And that's what drives you. So you will always revert to type. From what I said earlier, from 0 to 6. If you hear your mom talking in the kitchen to your auntie, and you're a female, and she said, yeah, all men are bastards, can't trust them, you may grow up not committing to relationships if you're a female.
Yeah, of course.
Right? If you're 2 years old and you're crying out for your mom and she's gone for a pee, as a 2-year-old, you have no concept of time. It's only been 2 minutes, but you're in a trauma now. It's still PTSD. Mommy's not coming, right? It's only 2 minutes. You may grow up with a skewed belief that those people that you love will not be there for you.
I've got an exact example of that.
So you won't commit. Yeah, okay.
When Buddy was little, we were at the shop somewhere, and he was crying, and we've not given them phones and iPads yet, because I knew I would need that in my arsenal if I ever needed to sort of calm him down or whatever. Lo and behold, we're going on holiday next week. I'm going to load the iPad up, keep him busy for a couple of hours. He won't even know he's gone. He was tiny, he was really small, and he was crying and crying and crying. And Kate went to go out the car, and for some reason I got the phone out and I put on, there's a thing called Big Block Sing Song. It's like a little 1 minute skit, and they do little songs and everything else. And I put that on, and he was still crying and everything else, and really, really screaming out. And we got home, I put it on for him, and he was instantly scared, to the point that he still talks about how scared he is of Big Block Sing Song. And it's like there's about 300 different videos of 300 different characters or whatever.
That's the association.
But it's the cutest, funniest little thing.
Yeah.
As soon as the music comes on, it sort of makes my hairs go up for some reason. He instantly he's scared.
That's
straight
his
away.
association,
like, it's ingrained in him, kind of thing. And it's so scary as a parent to think, like, that's one thing I'm conscious of and aware of.
Yeah.
It does seem like in this last 6 years, we've had like the worst time that we've had, worst arguments.
How old is he?
He's 6.
6? Oh, okay.
So we've had like the worst money problems, the worst. I've been horrible. Kate's been horrible. All of a sudden in this 6 years, but typically previous to that, we worked hard at becoming the best humans we could. Yeah. Giving up whatever we could and everything else.
Out the window when you have kids.
Yeah, and it's scary that in that 6 years, like we've been our worst almost. Well, not all the time, obviously, and not intentionally, but
it's been the most difficult.
It's sad that he's seen the worst of us. and it's kind of a bit disappointing that that might be his memory of us, kind of thing.
But the problem is, within that, you can still only do your best.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So it's still quite difficult. But
he'll have the same. Sorry, Nick, he'll have your values and your morals and respect and kindness and compassion. That'll all come through. But there'll be other stuff that he will have internalized.
Yeah.
And it's not for you just talking to him. It's because they just copy and listen and hear everything.
Yeah.
Because we all enter this world as newborn children, newborn babies, with only 2 fears. You remember those? Do you remember what the 2 fears are?
No, I don't.
Okay. Fear of falling, because we've never experienced gravity before.
Right.
And fear of loud noises. Because similarly, we've been cosseted in mummy's tummy for 280 days.
Wow,
Okay?
incredible.
Yeah, of course.
So what does that mean? Well, first of all, a baby adapts to those 2 new sensory experiences very quickly. Yeah? Oh, I'm not going to fall. I'm safe. Oh, that's just noise. I'm used to that. Okay. What does that mean? Anything subsequent to that, where a child grows into an adult and they have a fear of clowns, anorexia,
Sharks.
anxiety, shocks.
Big one for me.
Right. That's a learned condition. Something has happened, usually in its childhood, that has made that person think that way and behave that way. It's a belief.
My mum thought Jaws was a kids' film.
My sister wouldn't have a bath.
Me too.
My sister wouldn't have a bath for 3 months.
No, me too. I genuinely believe for some reason my bath had handles on the side, and I would have to hold the handles because I believe the bottom of the bath would open. I would drop into a huge dark black tank, and George would be coming up behind me to the point that still now when swimming, I'm all right if other people are in the pool, but the second I'm in there on my own, I can just feel him breathing down my neck, and I have to get straight out of the pool straight away. Kate, for my birthday, Kate took me for some desensitisation at the aquarium, and the guy took us round and told us all about the sharks, and I had to stand right next to it, come right up to the tank, and it really did. That was at the time that I started a little bit of therapy, and Kate studied psychotherapy as well, and we were kind of becoming more aware of we can change these habits and everything else. So I was a lot more open to it, and I did find it helped. But lately, I've kind of found it coming back. What's been odd is I've had a really horrible experience. A kid nearly died in my mum's pool last summer. I had to resuscitate him and bring him back. And what's happened is it's all tied into one. I'm kind of scared of water again now. I'm actually scared about going on holiday next week, and the pools is gonna like the main theme of it all. Like the kids are looking forward to the swimming pool. It's got lazy rapids and everything else. And I'm thinking, oh God, like I've literally got to hold on to these 3 little people in the pool and everything. It's crazy.
You see, fear is. You've heard the acronym of fear is false evidence appearing real.
No.
That's a good way to look at it.
Right, okay.
Yeah, false evidence appearing real. It's just a story you're telling yourself because of what happened to you when you was younger, okay? So that's the programming that I'm talking about. It's now belief. Sharks, water, okay? So if you understand that fear and worry, I bet you any worry that you have is not right here, right now.
No.
It's at some stage in the future. Even if it's an hour from now, tomorrow, next week. So why are you giving that energy? It's a story you're telling yourself. The actual definition of fear is anticipation of pain. Anticipation. So that means it hasn't happened. It's like me saying, Brad, can you anticipate eating your dinner on Friday night?
No.
Of course you can't.
Yeah.
Well, so this is what's fundamentally wrong, especially in the Western world. We're not present. We're over there. If you're anxious, you're living in the future. If you're depressed, you're living in the past. Okay? But you're not present. And we've had numbers. Yeah. When I saw Nick, the first thing I did, because we talk about hypnotherapy, but if I branded myself an anxiety relief specialist or weight management consultant or business consultant or life coach, which I am all those things, you'd have a different image. Remember we talked about the policeman and when I realised very early for you what would be most impactful was to get him centred. He came in with all these kind of labels that people have put him, and I said, I'm not interested in that because you're human. You're going to be sad. You're going to be depressed. You're going to be joyful. You're going to be excited. Yeah, you're going to be whatever. We all have those range of emotions sometimes in one day. So I know the first session was the most impactful because it was like a demolition job.
Yeah.
Right. I just got rid of everything so that subsequent sessions were about building blocks. Right. You had the new foundations in place. And it was just trying to let go of stuff.
So is that kind of...
It was very much like that, actually.
That's what
and but you saying that, and I kind of look back on it, it was very much like that. You just kind of blasted it all out really, really quickly. We've kind of really simplified everything down to, like, that's a fear, and that's a that, and that's a that, and it was like, oh, okay. Yeah. And then you did just build me up to kind of get back on.
So did you feel that was just you in the room then at that moment, and you weren't thinking past and present? Like, did you have a feeling of like being in that moment?
Yeah. Oh, certainly. And I felt it, when you said that about hypnotherapy. Like, for me, the most impactful bits of my sessions with you were actually the first hour when we talked. Like the hypnosis part of it was almost just like an added bonus, really, because but the thing is, but then also just as useful, because that also the first time I had the hypnosis was the most impactful, and it just really did. I felt like I just got pulled right down, and suddenly it was like all of this shit just didn't seem to matter as much.
Wow!
I just felt like you just relieved my burden, and the weight was taken off of me. But the talking, when I've recommended it to other people, I said, you don't just do. It's not just that. Like, you spend most of the time as talking.
Yes, talking therapies and
like that is the most useful part often, because as we went on, the hypnosis, like, it was more just a nice relax. Yeah. But initially, I remember just pouring out with sweat, and it felt like an exorcism.
Right.
It really did.
You was drenched, weren't you?
Sitting there, just for the first few, I was just pouring out with sweat.
So is that the body like letting go of everything?
That's
as well?
how it felt.
You're purging.
It did feel like that. It did feel there was an element of exorcism to it.
That's amazing.
You're purging,
and like it was almost. And I've not since then. I've not gone that low again. Like nowhere near.
What emotionally?
Well, you wouldn't be doing this. We said that. You wouldn't be doing the stuff that you're doing and the other things.
Wow, it's that defined. Like, you really can pinpoint it to that
totally.
degree.
I can,
That's incredible, man.
But you see, sorry, I haven't clarified, Brad. The hypnosis part is just the means of. We're talking about the subconscious mind being in charge. Remember, it's just to induce a trance-like state, which is just like a daydreamy state. Okay, when you're not asleep and you're not quite awake, you're just zoned out somewhere. And that enables me to talk to that part of you, in a way that it understands, and maybe I can put new suggestions in or help you release stuff about sharks, perhaps. That sort of thing. Because whilst we're talking now, it's not your subconscious that's listening; it's you consciously listening. And remember, that's the small part of you. That won't make a difference. So I'll get you into that place that we can say, okay, look, you're not 4 years old anymore, right? Because that, I don't know how old you are, but let's just say.
How old am I? 37.
All right.
A little nipper.
The 37-year-old man in this room, right, is saying, stupid, I shouldn't be afraid of sharks. In fact, there are no sharks.
Yeah.
What the hell? Remember what I said? The knowledge to action gap? You know that consciously.
Yeah.
Right? But you're still thinking, the holiday next week.
Yeah.
Because that's what's driving you. Now, if I can talk to that part of you, that subconscious, unconscious part, and say, it's okay. You're not 4 years old. You can let it go.
Yeah.
Just get rid of it.
Yeah.
It's like decluttering your wardrobe. Once you let it go, what do? You make space to let new in.
Yeah.
New ideas, new beliefs.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It all starts with a thought. The thought creates the feelings that you have, which lead to the behaviour. Right? Thoughts, feelings, behaviour loop. You know this from CBT, but it is.
It is true. The other thing that I've kind of, as you say, I realise is, like stuff to do. Like, a lot of my issues come back down to like stuff with my granddad and, you know, my dad as well to a lesser extent. And we did some work around that. And I have to say, the anger that I had that was just reinforcing my view, you know, my negative view of myself.
Yeah.
I don't have that. Yeah. You know, it comes back.
Yeah, of course it does. Yeah.
But like it doesn't stay there.
It's not as intense, is it?
It's not like,
because you know that anger is just directed inwards. That's all. You're only harming yourself. Okay.
And so was that at a point where that was your daily life every day? Those things.
Yeah, that was always going through my head. What? You
like the feeling, the feeling of...
no, that was always there. And when you talk about the programming, you know, that was where my programming came from.
Yeah.
So my granddad kind of just telling me I was crap, basically. And that's what programmed me.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm above that now. You know, like that's not my programming anymore. It comes back. And then I have to go, no. And like, again, you know, like coming back to the brain, my brain's going, don't, you know, be careful, you're going too far here. Yeah. Don't forget about, you know, like, I've got to protect you here. Yeah. Where's my job?
Yeah.
So, if I could just maybe give you some practical tips on a day-to-day.
100%.
Because you're trying to fight this big beast that you now know is controlling you. All right? From everything that you do and everything that you say. You need to collaborate with your subconscious mind, with your mind. Understand that your mind does exactly what it thinks you want it to do. So if you're saying, oh, God, I hate this job, right? Oh, I hate the commute, I hate the people I work with, it's hearing pain. It's going to say, I'm going to make you late. I'm going to make you ill. So you don't have to go there because it's hearing you don't want to do it. Right? The second thing, your mind likes the familiar, it hates the unfamiliar. The third thing, the words and pictures you say to yourself are very, very important. Okay? Let's just cross that. Anyone who's ever succeeded in life has had to make the unfamiliar familiar. Right? And I don't mean big houses and lots of dollars, and I'm talking about anybody. If there was a paraplegic in here trying to walk on the prosthetic limbs for the first time, that is success. It's relative. Earl Nightingale said, success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal or a goal. Yeah? Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal or goal. This is your success because you're progressively getting better and better.
Yeah.
The more you do it, the better you get. Okay? But it will always draw you back to the familiar, what's comfortable. That's why people have weight issues. Because mommy used to make me cakes when I was upset, when I was 4 years old. That makes me happy. Well, no, that's just fat and sugar. But your mind's, that's the belief. You're going for comfort, fulfill that need. All right? So be conscious of that. That's why you're always going to be pulled back because you've got 40 years of pain, and it's going to say, oh, no, go back to hating your dad because that's what you normally do. Or, sorry, hating you.
Yeah.
Hating's a strong word. I don't like it, but, you know.
No, but go back
reverting to that, hold on to that anger.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's what you normally do. And of course the words and the pictures you say in here, this internal dialogue is vital. Yeah. If you keep saying, I'm hopeless, oh, I'm such an idiot, I forgot my charger, I'm so stupid. You know, criticism of self is very destructive. It withers. And it doesn't seem like much, but if you say it 100 times a day, it's a big weight.
Adds up. Every
day, every week, every year. It just diminishes your sense of self.
But isn't it like, especially if your brain is then trying to protect you and you're going, oh, I'm so stupid I did that. And your brain's going, yeah, well then, you know, don't, you know, say, oh, you try to do something, it doesn't go well, and your brain goes, told you. And like, you'll go, I'm so stupid, I shouldn't have done it, and your brain's going, yeah, you're right. Don't do it again. Because your brain's going, come back.
depends what it is, I suppose. Yeah.
That's kind of often how I view it, is that, you know, your brain's going, no, come back. Come back. No, we're safe over here.
Comfortable.
We're safe. We're comfortable. Come back over here. Look, you know this. You understand this. Come back. You know, and it's going, you know, like I might, that I kind of tried, you know, so I've got a lot better with my dad, for example. And then say if something goes wrong, it's like my brain's going, I told you that was going to happen. Wow. Come back. And it always feels like my brain's trying to drag me back to that state of mess.
On a practical level, like, would that stop you sometimes from wanting to maybe like go out or go around there or have him over or anything else?
It does all that.
Like a second guessing almost sometimes.
Yeah, it's saying, oh, don't do that. You know, you're the victim. Almost like your brain, you know, your brain's going, well, you're the victim here. You shouldn't have to do that. They should be doing it to you. And like in reality, life doesn't work that way, does it? In reality, everyone has to kind of make an effort. Yeah. Otherwise, nothing happens. Yeah. And then I just see that as my brain's just going, oh no, but that's how you've always felt, and that's how it's comfortable. And I'm like, no. That's how I used to feel.
Yeah, you're always in some kind of conflict. But understand, there are various parts of your brain. As I said, 2 parts of your mind. So there's a third part, actually. And in terms of your brain, you've got the paleocortex, the neocortex, and the limbic cortex, which is your emotional centers. The paleo is the oldest one. When you see someone, the first thing you do is judge them. And you're going to say, can I fuck it? Can I eat it? Is it going to kill me? Wow. Right? That's what you know, or can I kill it? That's automatic. It's hardwired. And that's your primordial cortex is judging people because I'm dark skinned and black hair. If my tribe from 100,000 years ago, had people coming over the hill and they had blue eyes and blonde hair, I'm going to think, are they going to kill me? So I have to judge. And today, in context, it's like, obviously, if you're at a cash point, someone with a hoodie behind you, are they going to mug me? Yeah. Or are they okay? So it's there to keep you alive once again, right? It's another mechanism. Yeah. Okay, no, so
just kind of... That's like the protective element. Yeah. So like, that's what I was kind of getting at, is that your brain, there's a large percentage of your brain or your mind is constantly looking out to protect you. Oh, yeah. And we don't need that protection in the same way because we have moved on as a species.
Yeah, just imagine that, as I said earlier, your mind is a survival mechanism. Its number one job is to keep you alive. It's not there to find you love or happiness or success or wealth. It isn't. It's to keep you alive. Yeah, and it'll do it in ways that it thinks is right based on your conditioning as a child. So I'm looking out for sharks. What if there's a shark? What if? And remember, what ifs are worries. And what are worries? Stories you tell yourself. Okay? But it's like a bodyguard at an event, at a concert. You know, what's he got in his backpack? What's she doing driving down there? What's happening here?
Constantly on the lookout.
But there's no real danger. Its job is to look out for perceived threats. You know, so as Milton's, Paradise Lost, the mind in itself, can make a heaven of hell or a hell of heaven. It's its own place. Wow. So that's it. It's a constant thing. I have to do it every single day. Yeah. I've had a crap week because it's half term. I don't have many clients. Yeah. I've got other income streams, which is fortunate. Right? So I'll say, my mind will still say to me, 2:00 in the morning, right? As I'm having a single malt, maybe you should do something different. You're not very good at this. Yeah. Because I'll have one client that doesn't come back, but I'll forget about the other 12 that think, I've really helped them.
It's that one negative element.
Yes. So I still have to say, okay, don't be stupid. No, let's get a grip. And I'll use neuro-linguistic programming, which is kind of like hypnosis, but without going into trance. And then you just say, where's the evidence to support this, that I'm not good enough? Yeah. What am I comparing it to? And you can even use it in the third person sense so that it softens, it disassociates, it's cognitive dissonance. You can say in a Mickey Mouse voice, if you have a fear or something, right?
How to kind of offset it.
Yeah. If you say, oh, I'm not attractive enough for this person. Then you go, he's not attractive enough. Yeah? You've disassociated. Where's the evidence to support this? How do I know that's true? You know, that sort of thing. And if you do it in a Mickey Mouse voice in your head, then it just thinks, no, it's gone.
So essentially, you're breaking it down. You're saying, where is the truth in this? And so that kind of concept, you know, we're talking about the stories you tell yourself. If you've told yourself that story all your life, like me, for example, if I told myself the story all my life that, oh, you're really shit, that battery's going to run out.
That's right.
Then when something like that happens, that story kicks in. That story's going. So for me, that story is normally going, well, yeah, you are ugly. Of course you're ugly.
Yeah.
You know, you've always been ugly. You've always felt ugly, and that's because you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Whereas then I do that. Then I start breaking it down and going, well, I can't be that ugly. I'm married. Or
that's it. Yeah.
Like girls that have found me attractive from time to time.
So yeah, it is the point I was making. It needs constant work.
Yeah.
Right. If you want your body to get in shape, right, you have to do physical exercise. Physical exercise to the body is like discomfort.
Yep.
Right? For a long period of time until it gets used to it. Then you plateau out.
So we've just lost Brad. Brad's messing around with plugs.
He's just between my legs at the moment.
Plugs between Peter's legs. Yeah. That sounds funny, doesn't it?
There you go.
Sorry about that. Sorry.
No, but that's true. And this is something that, so like for the past, I've had a little bit of a dip the past few days, and that's because like something happened to me. I don't really want to go into it that much, but basically something knocked my confidence, and it made me feel like I wasn't any good.
Yeah.
And then what that did was fed into all of my past thoughts, and it's almost like that part of my mind was going, oh yeah, oh we forgot about that one, didn't we? And I feel it's like Gollum is sitting there going, we forgot about that one, you know. Oh yeah, don't forget that. Yeah, you're a cunt because of this as well.
It's actually played into effect.
Yeah, and then it was only just because then you started talking about it. I'm like, fucking hell, I've been doing that.
Yeah,
I've just totally done it.
We become what we become what we think about. Okay,
Yeah.
So you start thinking you're not good enough. You'll get. That's it.
That's so true. Isn't
So it needs continuous work.
I was going to say it's evident that it needs to be maintained and continued to be worked on. And I suppose there aren't the tools. Well, there haven't been the tools in the past, or maybe they have, but maybe they've been consciously kept from us. But like you say, these little nuggets of information of like, you know, try thinking this way, think differently, and think everything else. Like in your opinion, I know it's probably difficult to answer because we're in the environment now, and we're kind of on the outlook for these bits of nuggets and information, people that we follow on Instagram and everything. But do you think it's getting easier for people to get a hold of this information and get to grips with their own brains and kind of work on themselves? Or is it, I mean, obviously people will always fall into the same traps and
I think
the history repeats itself.
I think we live in a time where there's more resource available than any other time. But people are still ignorant and suffering more than ever. Yeah, especially with anxiety, which is fear-based, which is primarily down to thinking I am not good enough. Okay, I am not enough in some way, attractive enough, smart enough, wealthy enough, whatever it is, and that stems from. Remember, I said, as a child, you come into this world with only two fears. Right? You never see a baby or a toddler say, oh, don't look at me today, look at my rolls, my hair's not right. Every child comes into this world with high levels of confidence, high levels of self-esteem. Yeah? Do you know, esteem means the value that you hold onto yourself. If you hold someone in high esteem, they have high value. They are significant. They mean something. But if you have low self-esteem, you're worthless. And that comes from somewhere. Someone said that to you. Maybe your folks, oh, look at you, stupid boy. That's all it takes. Okay? I'm worthless because my dad said so. My dad is someone I love. I trust him. So it must be true. It must be absolutely true. You grow up through your life, have that belief. So yeah, you asked me a question. The resources are there, but people are suffering more and more, and it's primarily to do with anxiety, comparing themselves to others. And there's so many forms of anxiety. There's general anxiety disorder. I'll just run through quickly. Social anxiety disorder, performance anxiety disorder, PTSD. And when I say PTSD, you think of war zones.
Yeah, straight away.
But it isn't. PTSD could be a 3-year-old child loses their favourite toy. That's a traumatic event. Right? That 3-year-old could grow up thinking that anything he loves, will be taken away from him. I'll never find love. What's the point? I'll stick to relationships that I can't commit to. In fact, I won't have relationships. That's PTSD.
It's incredible.
OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. People say, oh yeah, I've got that because I need to have this neat and tidy. Oh, I've got that. I vacuum my house 3 times a day. No, you just like a clean house. If you have to do it 40 or 50 times a day, and if you don't, you start having panic attacks and physical sensations.
It stops you living your life.
Yeah, that's OCD.
Wow.
Okay, and where's that born from? OCD is, if I don't do this, something bad will happen. So if I get to the underlying cause, what's the bad thing that you think will happen? Okay, I can do some solution-focused work, and if it does happen, this bad thing, then I do analytical work. But then I remove the belief, then hopefully it goes, you see.
And I just think that can be quite... I think people often enter into... they've got a fear of doing this work on themselves. Or they've got a fear of going into therapy. And it's like, oh, I might find out something that I really don't want to know. And possibly. I say... you might. You might. But it might be just that turning it slightly.
Well, yeah, from what you're saying, it really could be
slightly differently.
It could be something innocent, like you say, like the teddy thing or something like that.
Exactly. And then you change that perspective just slightly.
Well, this is what
that's it.
That's what you've gone through, Nick. All I did was a reset. Okay? A minor reset, but it's kind of pulling you back from time to time. You would not be able to do what you're doing now if you didn't, with respect, come and see me, because totally we wouldn't be here.
No, and it was. You kind of gave me that kickstart and that kind of wanting more. That thinking I can do more, rather than thinking I'm shit, I don't deserve anything.
Yeah.
And then I just thought, well, no, I do deserve things.
You're right, though. A lot of people may not want to go and see what they kind of know because of suppressed memories and experiences and emotions. And do you know what the difference between a suppressed memory, emotion versus a repressed one? No. Okay. Something that's suppressed, you kind of know it's happened in your childhood, but you don't want to look at it. Mm-hmm. Yeah? Something happened. I don't really want to unpack that box. I don't want to revisit that. A repressed memory is when something's happened to you and it's been so traumatic, you've just blanked it out. Okay? But it's there and it's still affecting your life today at some level. When you unpick that and they go, oh my God, yeah, and you can release it, it just enabled you to move forward. Okay? So you said, some people might not like what they see, but I firmly believe it's about understanding of self. Look, we all know knowledge is power. And I repeat this mantra to you kind of again and again in our sessions because knowledge is power, but knowledge of self is self-empowerment, right? You are giving yourself the tools, the information, the resources to improve your life, just through understanding yourself. Look, Warren Buffett said, he was asked a question, Warren Buffett, the American billionaire, he was asked, I think, if you had one car in your life, what would it be? I don't think he mentioned the make and model, but he said what he'd do if you had a car for a lifetime and only one car, he would read the manual, so he understood every single word. He would make sure that the car was kept in a garage. He would make sure if there was ever a scratch on it, he would deal with it straight away. He would put the best fuel in that car, right? Because you'd have to have that car for his lifetime. You only get one mind, one body. Why aren't you looking after it?
I put a post.
That's fascinating.
I put a post on Facebook the other day saying, like, we invest. People invest loads and loads of money in their going to the gym, doing their hair, you know.
Yeah.
And men
do.
We all, like, everyone does. Buying nice aftershaves, getting a nice car, and you put all this stuff into exterior shit. Yet, very rarely do people invest in their their insides. Their minds.
Yeah. Because that's how society has shaped us. It's all about commercialism. It's about bling. It's about cars, the neighbours.
Worry about your shampoo.
I suppose because it can't be physically seen, and you can't sort of. Well, I know obviously you can, but it can't be sort of. You can't just sort of walk up to someone and go, right, I'm going to sell you this, and this is going to sort that, and that out. I suppose
it's not really tangible, is it?
No,
it's not tangible in the same way.
We are taught to look for external things will make us happy. That's why you buy those trainers and those guitars. It's the dopamine.
Yeah,
you get that hit. Everybody, you got dopamine is that instant hit. It's like when you smoke weed, when you laugh, when you have an orgasm, when you buy something, you get that. When you get a text message, oh, I'm important. Then you've got your endorphins, the rock star, happy neurotransmitter. It's when you overcome stress or pain or go through exercise. It's good. Then you've got serotonin, which are happy memories and sleep and blah, blah, blah. Right? And you've got oxytocin. It's when you belong. When you hug your little boy, you feel good, don't you? Your dog, that's it. And that's all. We're all chasing these happy neurotransmitters from external sources. When there's nothing better than you sitting there watching, Finding Nemo with your little boy in that moment, in the now, not wanting anything else with your children, just for that 1 hour. Because people who want money don't want money. They want the feeling that money gives them. It's the feeling. Always look for the feeling behind what it is, right? I feel important. I feel of value. I feel loved. I feel I can afford this. Whatever the feeling is, that's the essence. It's not the money.
Yeah, that kind of really cuts to it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
When you think of it in those terms, that really just really cuts through all the shit.
I want to feel more important. I want to be Mr. Big. I want to feel people like me. Money will give me that. No, actually it won't. But that's the belief.
Actually all you want is a feeling.
Yeah.
And you can actually achieve that feeling quite simply and easily on your own.
I remember you saying in the first podcast about being at nature and outdoors. Isn't that right,
swimming,
Brad?
Yeah, well, I do a bit of wild swimming. I haven't done it for a little while.
That's it. You said something. And you just feel centered and at one.
Connected.
That's the word. And we are totally disconnected.
100%.
That's why people do drugs. I remember you speaking about addiction, and it's not about getting that hit. It isn't. Right? It's about wanting to feel connected with other people, with or shutting off the pain, right? And then there's that whole argument whether heroin is addictive or not, because that's a separate discussion.
Because they'd argue that the argument is that heroin. If you go to a hospital. And you've hurt yourself seriously, they give you morphine.
Yes.
Yeah, diamorphine, 100% pure. That's it.
Which is just like the bollocks heroin.
Yeah.
But it's not dirty, so you don't get like the negative bits as such.
Yeah.
However, they might pump you full of that for a week, 2 weeks. You then leave hospital. Do you have withdrawal?
No.
And that is because basically you have a happy, normal, reasonably well-adjusted life, like most of us do. Even if it's a bit shit sometimes, we still have a reasonable life. So when we leave the hospital, we walk out, we don't have withdrawal because we go back into a normal, happy life.
Yeah.
But, if people withdraw for heroin, they go back to it because they don't go back into a normal, happy life. So essentially, the idea is that people take the drugs because they're fucking unhappy.
Yeah.
The reason why I have abused substances and drunk fucking loads and hurt myself in the past is because I'm unhappy. Like no other reason, you know, just because I was fucking
As we said,
unhappy.
that's the crux. That's the feeling. Like get them down to the feelings.
So you're doing anything you can to push that feeling away, that unhappiness. And yeah, that's why. Well,
that's our hour.
Yeah, and that's the difference between, like, say, problematic drinkers.
Yeah.
You know, people who can drink, have a weekend, and then I've got a problem with drinking. It's like, well, you haven't.
No.
So why do you drink? If you drink because you hate yourself, then you've probably got a problem with drinking.
Yeah. That is it.
Well, that's it.
Wowzers. There's so much. I think
stuff to think about.
That's going to be one episode. I mean, I like I like them all, but I'm just going to go back over and over and over that and just unpick it and listen and take all the little nuggets of information away, I think.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, thanks, Peter.
More
We're
than
so
welcome.
pleased that you came
Really
along.
quick.
We'd love to have you back if ever you fancy it.
Yeah,
100%.
Open door policy for you, I think.
No
Indeed.
problem. Thank you.
Anytime.